Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello, welcome to the show. Please subscribe.
Yes, and please go to thatpedalshowstore.com and pick up some merch. It is the main way we fund the show.
This is the second video in a kind of part 1 and 2 that we're doing about modern attenuators, the wonder of modern attenuators,
Yes.
nonetheless.
Very
the
good.
first one, the wonder of modern attenuators quieter, we sort of talked around some of the issues, the obvious thing about using an attenuator on your amplifier. Your amp's too loud, you need it quieter. Use an attenuator to make it less loud, but retain much of what makes the amp special to you.
Yeah.
Which is a very different deal than simply turning the master volume down, and we've done shows on that too, links below. We're turning the table upside down here.
Yes.
And this is called the wonder of modern attenuators, louder.
How does that work?
What have you just heard?
You've heard the, I'm going to say this wrong, Bugera?
That's right.
Bugera? Is it Bugera?
Yeah.
Right.
We prefer Bugera.
Right. And it's 1 watt mode.
Yeah, it's an Infinium.
Teeny tiny little amplifier.
It's an Infinium T5. It's an all-valve amplifier. Mm-hmm. It has a maximum of 5 watts and a minimum of 0.1 watts, and it's currently in its 1 watt mode. And as you heard Dan playing at the beginning there, and if you wish to view it again and look at the dB meter, you'll see it barely went over 80 dB.
So it's very quiet.
I.e., it is the kind of volume you would be playing at home if you live in any sort of normal home where playing at volume is not possible.
Yeah.
And this is the simplest approach. This is the simplest approach to playing at home. Before we get into IRs, before we get into software, before we get into digital modeling amps, this is just a 1 watt tube amp.
Yep. 1 watt tube amp into a guitar speaker, and it's genuinely a pleasure to play.
It sounds pretty decent, and we've got some pedals up front here, so you know, a couple of boosty overdrivey things, a wobbly thing, a delay, and a reverb. The kind of pedals that I don't want to say most people, because there's no such thing, but many people have on their board. This is not an unfamiliar situation for a lot of people. So the standard way to use an attenuator, as we said, big amp, 100 watt Marshall, if you watch the last video in this series, make it quieter. What a lot of modern attenuators have is functions to not only make quieter, but make louder.
Correct.
So if you've got a small amp that you like, it might not be a 1 watt Bugera, it might be a 6 watt Champ.
Yeah.
Might even be a deluxe, you know, where you turn it up. That's a Fender Tweed Deluxe, where you turn it up to a point and it just overdrives too much and you can't get it any louder, and you might want to get it a bit louder if you want to take your little amp and go and do a gig.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful.
So what's our first stop then?
First stop is our beloved Fryette Powerstation. So this is still an attenuator. We can still plug the amp in from the speaker output. It takes all the loveliness, creates a sound, but it goes through a 50 watt valve power amp, which means that we are taking that signal. We can still turn it down, but we can also, most importantly, turn it up.
Yeah. And it's a reactive load attenuator. It's not just like an old school resistive straight. The modern attenuators are reactive load.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. But it also has some really nice things on like deep functions, and you can change the like there's presence, and it's really, really cool. So what's interesting, especially if regardless of whether we're taking that sound and making it louder or smaller, the way our ears perceive things, we have this Fletcher-Munson curve, so that you can shape the output of it to sort of normalize what's going on at changing volumes. It's really clever.
Okay, we'll do a finger snap. I'll play a little bit just to give you an idea of 1 watt, and then we'll do a finger click and you'll then hear it. At the moment, the Fryette's not in the game at all. It's just the head plugged into the cab, and the next thing you'll hear after this is with the Fryette in. Yeah?
in the room. Isn't that good?
It's great. It's really great.
It's fantastic. And what I love about it, you've got your depth presence, apart from the volume, and some switches to go between different brightnesses and resonance depths as well. But they're subtle.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like having a massive EQ thing in there. It just, if you're going between a closed back and an open back cab, you can change how that bottom end just hits it a little bit.
Because it's all important, right?
All important.
Your high and low end response determines the sort of where the whole tone sits.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get you to have a play. I've got to find my phone in a minute. You have a play. I'll manipulate a couple of those things so the good people can hear.
Okay.
And obviously, what hopefully doesn't require explaining. We went from the Bugera's 1 watt, turned the Powerstation on, and were able to increase the volume. That's the increase in volume you heard.
Absolutely.
And the dB emitter will tell the story when I do it again. Now.
It feels really great.
So what Dan's got back now is, all right, we've gone from below 80 dB where we started with the 1 watt Infinium. We're now at 100 dB. We've added an incredible amount of volume, loud enough to gig with. But what you'll notice is that Dan has now got a whole bunch of dynamic available from the guitar, which wasn't there before.
That's right.
Okay, so the next issuette we get to with small amps cranked, especially 80 if you think like a small tweed Fender that doesn't have an effects loop, if you take something like, I don't know, a tiny Marshall, 1-watt Marshall, this Bugera, I'm going to get an overdriven sound out of it in a minute. We'll turn all this guff off. We're going to make the amp overdrive, and then obviously we're going to feed in delay and reverb into the front, which we did in the last show as well, just to make the point very quickly that it can be a messy old mess. Okay, so I'll turn the power station off again. I'm going to have to go back over here and turn the mic preamps up again. Turn the mic preamps up again, because with these massive differences, like 80 dB to 100 dB, all right, it's measured here, so it might not be completely accurate, but is at least a constant. The difference in mic sensitivity you need is huge.
Yeah,
so
massive.
We'll go back to just the Bugera, and we're going to crank it up and get an overdriven sound out of it. That's it, absolutely dined in 1-watt mode, okay? So 1 watt. This is, I mean, that might even be a bit high for bedroom level. I probably wouldn't get away with that in my house.
Right.
What's it saying? Still not quiet.
No.
But you certainly wouldn't be heard against
with
the
a
drum
bongo
kit.
player.
Yes. So if we add some reverb to that now, you'll hear that it might just get a little bit messy. Not going to change any of the pedal settings at all, right? But what we are going to do is use the loop in the Fryette Powerstation to put the effects post gain after the amp. I'll just invoke the Powerstation now.
Okay.
And then we'll get all of what we just got, but louder. Right?
Okay, yep.
Right, mic preamps again. Go for it. It's a great sound, and it's a sound you could definitely use, but it's not, perhaps, shall we say, the everyday use of delay and reverb with an overdriven sound.
Indeed.
So we're just going to do a bit of recabling. Sounds great.
It really does.
That really sounds great. And are we surprised? We've got a 1-watt tube amp cooking really nicely, and we're sticking it into a 50-watt tube power section
With
hitting a speaker.
Exactly. With the wet effects post gain stage.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
The diagram on the screen will explain what's going on, but that is really... That's the best sound we've heard today
Completely.
by a country mile.
Completely.
Well, maybe apart from the unattenuated Marshall right at the beginning of video 1. But I love that. It's much more usable.
Completely. But it's important to say that if that was a loud amp, we could take that loud sound, crunchy as you like, and turn it down, still do the same thing with those in the effects loop.
make it smaller.
But that is a wonderful thing about the modern attenuators, with some of them, that being a really high quality valve power amp. So, you know, it gives you that option.
And some excellent tweakability in terms of the EQ. Working really great. Just to prove it, before we switch out the machine and get a bit more adventurous, I'll put it in its 5-watt mode and we'll turn it down just to prove that it will attenuate down as well as up.
Great.
Okay. So we'll just, I'll flick the Bugera to, at the moment the power station is off. We'll go from 1 watt to 5 watts. Go, Dan. Finally, to make the point. So that was, you heard the power station on, dropping the level. We turned the power station off and the 5 watts of the Bugera came back. We'll find out where this thing can do its cleanest sound.
Yes, at the 5 watt setting.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Like it.
Go for it.
Have you mixed these out?
No, the power station's not on.
Ah. Okay, there we go. So that's just the amp bypass.
A clean sound.
There's a switch on the front that just completely takes it out.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And
that's it, 5 watts, right?
That's clean.
That's clean.
Well, it doesn't get much cleaner than that.
Yep. That sounds fantastic.
You can see why these things are so popular.
So that, no matter what amp you're using, that just gives it so much more flexibility, but without really compromising anything.
Didn't feel like it was compromising anything to me. In fact, quite the opposite. So let's say you've got a 5 watt amp and you're thinking, oh, I need a 20 or a 30 or a 50 because I want to go out and play. That is an absolutely viable option as long as your speaker is powerful enough to take 50 watts.
Yeah.
But that and another cab.
Yeah, because there's 2 speaker outputs on that.
Right.
So you could have 2 cabs running together. Magic.
Okay, let's take that basic principle
and get silly.
Well, add some functionality, but also, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay. Back in the room.
Woo. Goodbye, Fryette. Hello, 2 notes, Torpedo, Reload 2.
Yeah.
And have you noticed how they're putting little wooden things on the edge of all the really posh ones these days?
Yes, it's very nice.
You can put rack ears on there as well if you want it in a rack. Anyway, desktop use. Right. What's interesting about this?
So this is a It's a solid state, but a stereo version of. Yeah, if you just turn all the way down for the moment. There you go. So it's a solid state version, but it's stereo. It's like 215 watts a side. It's a Class D power amp, but it's using all the 2-notes cleverness.
But it's all analog, right?
It's all analog.
So same thing. You take your 1-watt amplifier, you plug that into the device.
Yep.
That gives you, instead of the Fryette, which had 1 amp, it's now got 2 amps for stereo or dual mono, whatever.
Yep. You've got a stereo effects loop, which you can configure in a bunch of different ways. It's very clever. You can do parallel and into each other. You can also, it's got XLRs on it that you can feed into an external IR device, and it comes packaged with Celestion software and blah, blah, blah. But that's not for this unit. That's for something else. This unit, 100% analog.
Yeah. So the way that would work is, well, we'll hear it in a second, but then you take your DIs, you send them to your recording interface or front of house or wherever you want to send them, and you apply the speaker IR after. So there's no IRs in it.
Correct.
And in that sense, for me, it falls down compared to the Palmer one that we tried.
Yeah, so the Palm one's really interesting because it's all analog speaker curve things. But I think what this is meant for is if you send this, if you're recording or whatever, you're doing a gig, and you send that to a couple of tracks that you record.
It's a DI.
It is a DI, but you can reamp it later.
Yeah.
If it doesn't quite nail it, you can take a really pure signal recorded from that and then go to town with it with all the other 2-note stuff.
So we are recording the DI from the XLR outputs as well, and if I can find it within my soul to add some IRs to them, I will, and give you an idea of what happens when you add IRs to a direct signal. As it stands, we've got the Bugera in 1-watt mode.
The what?
The Bugera.
Thank you.
In 1-watt mode, and it's hitting, it's going into the reload. You can only put 1 amp into it, even though it's got 2 power amps and a stereo effects loop. You can only feed it with 1 amp. Bugera, which you've heard in the video already. And then from the those 2 big white dials on the front, they're feeding each of those cabinets with its own 215 watts per side. I know you've said that already, but I'm going to repeat it
That's
anyway.
good.
So
That's
here's
good.
the Bugera at 1 watt. And because we have a stereo effects loop, we can add some stereo effects to make Dan feel less hateful about what's currently happening.
Tell you what's really interesting, and I know that's a solid state power amp and it's quick, but I am getting that little bit of valve compression on the front.
From the amp.
From the amp.
Keep playing.
That's really
I'm
cool.
going to check we're not killing the preamp.
Okay.
Going to turn it up to maximum.
Okay.
That is not 415 watts, so something weird is happening.
No, because the Bugera is turned down.
I know, but even so, that's maximum. There's got to be a level control on it somewhere.
If you turn up the output, the
All right,
master volume
all
of the
right,
Bugera.
all right. So what we've got now is the amp turned down quite a bit,
Right.
and the reload turned up quite a bit. I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to max the amp out. Remember, it's still in its 1 watt setting.
Yes.
And we'll turn the reload down a bit to hear it.
Okay.
Hear its attenuation.
Yep.
And we're hitting 94, 95 there.
Yeah.
So let's get down to 80.
Okay.
That's just using the overdrive in the Bugera at 1 watt.
I dig it. So what's interesting, there's a clarity in the power amp. You feel the quickness, but you absolutely feel the compression in the amp.
Right. So it's just making it...
Have a play, man, because it does feel really nice.
I will. this episode, the first episode was called Make Quieter, which is what we've just done. This episode is called Make Louder.
Yep.
So I'm going to get the Bugera in the 1 watt mode
Happening,
which it is, and then we're going to make it louder.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
that would make me happy.
Because we're down sort of towards 80 dB, which is we're taking nominally as home volume level.
Sure. Sure. I'm super impressed.
So
it feels great.
Yeah. So we went from a distorted sound. Remember, there's no overdrive device here at all. You would never, ever, ever get that range of clean and distorted out of a 1 watt amp. I put it on 5 watts at the end to get more headroom.
Right.
So what I'm interested now is, we know that it'll do the distorted thing made louder or quieter.
Yep.
Can it do clean dynamics?
Yeah,
So
okay.
I'm going to turn it up a bit more, but I'm going to play more lightly. And add some wet effects. Go for a crazy reverb, see how it handles that, and quite a lot of delay. Okay, so it's a sighting lap. We don't really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That solid state power section is delivering that bottom end in the way that solid state power sections do.
Yes.
Absolutely no give.
Yep.
No pleasure. Just here, have this. So I'm just going to take some of the depth out of it a bit. It's one of the things I find about solid state is it delivers the frequencies in a totally different way.
Sure.
Or class D or whatever it is, not tubes is what I mean. Yeah, it's academic at this point because what the reload is delivering is headroom that you would simply never, ever, ever get out of a 1 or 5 watt amp.
Completely.
So
what I dig about it though is that even in an amp as simple as the Bugera, there's enough variation in sag and compression and limiting, and that is just saying, okay, I'm just going to deliver this as perfectly as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And so you can get really tweaky on what's going on with the amp.
Yeah.
And so for some of the stuff I was doing before and the detail and the distortion.
Yeah. The sounds you were getting were fantastic. Me, I couldn't find a place that I was happy.
Sure.
But with the distortion, it was really killing it.
It was really interesting.
And some of the transients on the clean stuff you were playing.
And I love that.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Okay, there's probably other stuff that we haven't talked about with the Reload 2, not least that it comes with a great big software package and all of that.
Massive package.
But similar to the Fryette that we played earlier, the idea that you can use whatever amp you like with it, drive a cabinet and affect the sound of that cabinet. And here you can to an extent.
Yeah.
But not as much as you can with the Fryette.
No.
Right.
200 solid state watts is very different than 50 valve watts.
I meant in terms of the EQ and the tone.
Yeah.
You've got depth and presence.
Yeah. But the Fryette's got some extra switchiness.
There's a whole bunch of stuff on the back as well.
Yeah.
What's nice is what we're not dealing with is any latency. So because there's no modeling going on, because there's no digital signal processing going on, there's no latency. And that is a big deal when you're starting to do things like dual signal paths, adding effects, sending to other sources. Now, of course, as soon as you add an IR, you've got latency, but that's for out front or the recording software to worry about where you can fix it. Right on cue. We had to have these turned on because we used them in show 1 and it's passing the signal from the direct out, even though they weren't turned on in the room.
Yeah.
All right, so when we started this journey, we started with the wonder of modern attenuators make quieter.
Yes.
And we've ended up in episode 2 as the wonder of modern attenuators make louder.
As the way only we can.
It's a leading question.
Yeah.
Do you prefer getting a big amp and making it quieter, or a small amp that's already quiet and making it louder?
Small amp.
Me too.
Every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
Every day of the week.
The more I hear attenuators on 100 watt amps, and I appreciate you could, if you watch episode 1, and I appreciate you could take more time, you could endlessly tweak, you could keep going. I think it's infinitely more satisfying to take a small amp and make bigger, remembering that you can make smaller as well, as we proved with both of these.
Yeah, I don't. The attenuation thing, the reason that I would use those attenuators to make a large amp quieter would be to take a signal and plug it into a recording device, or whatever that is, with the...
Or make 107 dB 101.
Yeah, but not 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. I think it's folly. I think it's folly trying to take a 100 watt amp and make it bedroom level. I think you're far better off having a much smaller amp.
Yes, and then making it louder if you need to.
And attenuating it less for the bedroom level or for the home level, but making it louder if you want to with something like
this, the Fryette.
Yeah. I am really impressed with that. And I've got to say, sonically, for me, the Fryette leaves everything else standing.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's tube power section.
Yeah.
And I'm not just being, you listen back to the audio, I'm not just being like motivated cognition about that. I think because I've played tube amps for 35 years.
Yeah, of course.
I'm used to what that sounds like.
Yeah. Whenever we've used it, it's had that thing is that we both instantly go, yeah, this is lovely. I will say I'm super impressed with this. If you're getting a lot of your sound from, well, not just the amp, like the preamp section of the amp, and if you're doing like the Dumble thing where the back end is just wide open, you're not fully reliant on that, then I think this is a really great solution. And also being the stereo.
Yeah, having the two cabs is killer.
Yeah. So that thing is you can have, you can do your 5 watt world, have all the 5 watt amps in the world, and then do, get lost in big soundscapes and stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah, we were using it stereo today, right? You could use it dual mono with two completely different. No, you can't. You can only plug one amp into it.
You can only plug one amp into it, but you can
two cabs.
You can have 2 cabs, and you can have separate effects loop return.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So no, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. Yeah, cool. So we tried 4 devices. The Boss.
Yep.
From the start of episode 1, we tried the Boss Wazza Core. We tried the Palmer Super Soaker. We tried the Fryette Powerstation, the single one rather than the 100. And we've tried the 2 Notes Reload 2. What are you going to choose?
Fryette. I would choose 2 Fryettes.
For a make louder device.
For a make louder device. Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah. I would choose 2 of them. Honestly, I could use that. Because of I love the transients and all that sort of stuff really works for me. But the stereo nature of that, I think it's really cool. Also, that thing so I would never do this, but if you are reamping, you've taken your Fillmore sound or your Princeton or whatever, that's a sound you like, but you want to make it bigger. You want to be able to send 2 signals to record so that you can reamp it later, whatever. That, I really dig it.
Yeah.
I really dig it. And it might be that you find speakers that you like better in certain situations, whatever, but I'm very impressed.
Hasn't even got into the IR side of it once you send the direct outs.
So that's one thing for the Boss. Boss is like I think it's the cheapest of the lot.
Yeah.
It's an it's got the IRs built in. You can plug a 200 watt amp into it or whatever. It does a lot of stuff
as an all-in-one.
As an all-in-one, I think it's really impressive.
And it does half a job of the making louder because it's got that 30 watt amp.
It's got the 30 watt thing.
Not loud.
The Super Soaker as an attenuator.
That would be my choice.
Incredible.
As an attenuator. Because the other thing the Super Soaker and the Boss have is headphone outs.
Yeah.
Neither the Fryette nor that have a headphone out. So if you want a pure attenuator to use at home and you want to hear that sound, complete with things like using the effects loop, so you get all your stereo effects in the Palmer, but not in the Boss. You get mono effects in the Boss. Although
you got stereo effects that you can get into with your software.
Yes.
And so it is all in there. And I think as something that is a way into that, you can just take that and have loads of fun at home with your headphones, and it's all there. Yeah. And I think that's really cool. I genuinely think they all have really good things about them, depending on how you're going to use them.
Yeah.
You and I would take a Tweed Deluxe and use the Fryette every day of the week.
Every day of the week. I would. To me, it opens the world of small amps, which I've never really loved because they're just not loud enough in a band situation.
There you go.
The Fryette especially fixes that completely. And I know there's loads of you out there doing it, but just try and bear in mind for a second, there's loads of people that have no idea that that's even possible.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely, I think what doing these 2 shows has done is it's turned on its head my expectation of an attenuator. I still don't want to hear a 100 watt amp with an attenuator.
Yeah.
I think it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's not, you can spend weeks getting it to a point where you're happy with it.
Yeah.
Just get a small amp and crank it up and mic it sensitively. I think it's a better result personally.
But if you want to knock a few dB off and send a thing to the front of the house,
Different game.
Different game.
Yeah. Attenuated slightly, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good. All right.
Very cool.
I'm sure this will be a hot topic in the comments. So let us know what you think. Let us know what you use. Let us know how you get around this whole thing. Man, 1 watt Bugera, Powerstation, couple of cabs.
Happy days.
I'm happy.
Unreal.
I'm totally happy. Yeah. Okay, good. Please subscribe, click the button.
Yes, and also please go to thatpedalshowstore.com and grab some merch. It is the main way we fund the show. And a massive thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you very much. I'm going to bottle the perspiration that's come off today.
Oh, yeah. Let's get that online.
We'll sell that on the store.
Yeah, very lovely.
And minus money.
And there was something else.
Retailers.
Thank you to our preferred retailers. Details in the description below.
Indeed.
God bless them.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
Brilliant.
Bye.
Bye.